We are live. Yay. Here we go. Create a room. Oh, I could actually invite people. Hello, everybody. Instagram world, how is everybody doing? This is the official Healers of the Earth. Welcome. And we're going to be talking with Derek, the Jing Master. I cannot wait to dive in deep. And I didn't even know we had this option. Okay, thank you. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. There we go. And he has arrived. Amazing. Hello. Welcome to Healers of the Earth, everybody. Hey, Marshall. Always a pleasure seeing you. Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings. Does everybody hear me properly? Do you hear me properly?
I hear you perfectly.
Perfect. If there's anything, guys, let us know. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's been a busy week. Super busy. But I was actually looking forward to this interview, this Healers of the Earth episode.
Me too.
So, yes. So I'm just going to explain a little bit what it is to anybody who doesn't know. Basically, Healers of the Earth is my project to try to bring in, to kind of balance out all the negativity by reminding people that there's actually good people in the world, people that are trying to raise a collective conscious, people who are in it for growth, evolution, in it for, unveiling the corruption, unveiling all the gunk that's been coming up lately. And you're actually somebody that I've been wanting to talk to for a very long time. We actually met like about 5 years ago. I don't know if you remember, but we met at a metaphysical show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Way back. And I remember you specifically because you were like one of the last persons that I ended up talking to. And we actually I had an amazing conversation with your products and mushrooms and how you started. And it was just like really like high vibes. It was so enlightening that I'm like, you like stuck. So if you have any doubts about like whether you're doing something or impacting the world, like this is your confirmation.
Amazing. I totally forgot about that. That's
It was a
crazy.
long time ago. It was a very long time ago. And I actually it was interesting because I had bought one of your products and you ended up giving me one to try. It was like a little bag and they were both amazing. Like they were both just super delicious and yeah. So
Wow,
I
that's
couldn't
awesome.
wait. Yeah, I couldn't wait to just dive in deep, especially with everything that you've been doing and all the new stuff that you've been creating and everything that you've been posting. Like, thank you for being you. Number one. So for all those who don't know, this is Derek, Jing Master, activating multidimensional health, awakening power and potential, which are very, very epic statements. So we're going to start with who are you, Derek? Who is Derek? Let's start with that.
I ask myself the same thing.
That's great, though. That's
I
actually very important.
I actually saw this cool meme today, and it was like this post of some interesting figure, and the statement was, "I'm a presence beyond time," and I
Ooh.
really resonate with that. But obviously, we live here in this world, and we have to add some titles to who we are. And who am I? Well, I'm just a young man who's passionate about health, wellness, as you said, activating multidimensional health and potential in people, all things natural, all things that have to do with nature, herbalism, and just life in general. And so I'm a very passionate individual about these things. And I love learning about these things. And then I'd like to take everything that I've learned and to create with them and to create programs, businesses, collaborations, and in so many different ways, shapes, and forms.
Amazing. The ultimate alchemist, basically.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
An
Did you?
alchemist of life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, that's what a human is, right? A human is basically an alchemist of life. You're utilizing everything around. Well, I mean, that's the whole purpose, right? You're testing the energies, testing the waters. We don't really know what we're doing here on this planet. We're just going with the waves, going with the emotion,
Absolutely.
going with whatever punches are being thrown, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
could you just repeat that statement one more time? The quote that you saw, that you heard,
I am a
in
presence
terms of,
beyond time.
hmm. And why did that like captivate you? So, like, why did that presence beyond time, like, what was it about that statement that really, like, oh, this is something
I
that I
guess
need to?
because when we ask, the question, who am I or who are we, it's really beyond any kind of box or any kind of thing,
Mm,
or we tend to put ourselves in boxes, which I think is important. It's important to define ourselves in this world of form because living
mm,
in the world of form. But I think beneath that, and ultimately, we're way beyond that, and we have to remind ourselves that. And I just reading that quote just put me back into that state and just reconnects me with the formlessness, with the no thing that we actually are,
mm.
and it's beyond space and time.
I love when you said that putting ourselves in a box is important to identify who we are because we tend to forget that we live in the 3D reality and it's part of our existence. It's fun to go out there, it's fun to connect, but if we don't anchor that into the 3D reality, then you're not living the human experience completely. So that to me was like super, super important that you mentioned that. Okay, so what is what is Jing and what is a Jing master? What does it do? So we'll start with that because even me in the beginning I had to Google it and I had to like just find out what Jing meant. So for all those who don't know, how would you explain it?
Very simply, Jing is it comes from an ancient philosophy called the Three Treasures System. It's a
Mm,
Taoist tonic philosophy, and it's of the prenatal school of all Chinese medicine.
mm,
So Jing represents the constitutional, foundational life energy that makes up your entire life. So we say energy, we say chi. Chi is kind of like the animating force of all living and non living things in the universe, whereas
okay.
Jing represents the consolidation of all that you are in the human body. So your Jing is an energy that you inherit from your parents, and that's passed down to you. And when you're born, that's stored into your kidney region, and that Jing is in your kidneys, and then it kind of expresses itself through you can say your vital life energy, your reproductive power, it's basically your deep constitutional reserves that dictate the length of your life, and just like that deep power that we can draw upon when we need it the most. Ideally, we never want to have to use it, but we'll use it in survival situations. We'll use it to make up new life during conception. We'll use that energy if we're fourth, fifth round in a boxing match when you're totally exhausted, but you still have some energy that you don't know where it comes from, but you can draw upon that power to get you through that fourth and fifth round. So that Jing is very primal. It's very deep. And what a Jing master is basically mastering that energy, because now we live in a society where we're leaking that energy, we tap that energy, we're overstimulated, and so we're
Mm,
drawing out our deeper reserves, our constitutional energy, and often people are experiencing burnout way too young,
mm,
infertility issues way too young,
so
and
true.
the list goes on and on and on. So I adopted the name Jing Master because Jing is something I discovered really early on in my journey, and I realized that it's something that became just so important to my life and so precious. And I knew that this was something that I was going to take with me for the rest of my life. And so, thus, I adopted the name Jing Master.
Interesting. So basically, you're saying that Qi is the energetic force, and the Jing is like the, the kind of the internal strive, the internal force that we. Wait, let me see if I got this straight. The Jing, the Qi is the energetic forces that are all around us that we can utilize within, out. And the Jing is, you're saying, kind of like bringing it into force.
Basically, the easiest metaphorical way to understand Jing and the three treasure system, Jing Chi Shen, is by thinking of a candle. So, like I said, Qi is the animating force of all living and non living things. We get it through the food that we eat, through the water that we drink, through the air that we breathe. Our
Okay.
organs manufacture that energy into Qi. And so that chi, that fire, needs somewhere to burn. So the best way to understand this is to think about a candle. So your jing is the substance, the wick, the wax,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
the chi is the flame, and the shen, which translates as spirit, is the glow of the candle.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a great, great metaphor, a great way of saying it. And do we know why it originates in the kidney?
That's according to the prenatal Taoist school of thought.
Okay, we're gonna go
Um,
deep now. We don't have to go that deep, but that's
it,
really interesting.
it just represents the core constitutional energy that resides in the lower region of the body, the pelvic, the kidney, the adrenal, the reproductive system. The whole kidney energy system comprises all of that. So the Chinese, they don't see a difference between the sexual reproductive system and the kidney energy system. It's kind of all connected.
Okay.
And so that jing is stored in that core area of the body.
Could we say it has something to do with it being in the seat of the soul? Like the, because usually the sacral chakra, that whole pelvic area is considered like the seat of the soul. So that's where the soul actually kind of starts the whole development of the I am and all of that. A lot of like spiritualists or people who actually study ancient wisdom, sometimes a lot of the times they actually say that that's the seat where the soul actually like generates, basically.
I guess you can say that. I
Yeah,
guess, there's many translations and definitions that we can get into, but I think that's a good way to say it.
absolutely. There's so many theories. So, okay, so let's dive in deep with how did it start, you becoming a gym master? Let's start with that story.
Well, it started with when I was 17 years old. I got, I guess you can say, I just felt like something needed to change. You can say I was guided. I have a martial arts background in Shotokan karate, and I kind of got lost off the path as a young teenager, just doing teenager things, and you I, I don't know, like I guess I had a certain kind of awareness that made me self-inquire and self-reflect, and
Okay.
made me look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, something's wrong. I don't feel myself. I don't feel like there's something wrong. I just need to do something about it. And so I thought
At
about,
17.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
so I
That's
thought about my martial arts background. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go buy my favorite weapon. So I go to a martial arts store, and I get to the store, and there's this book on the shelf that's like glowing. And it's
oh,
a Qigong empowerment book. And it was 5 books in one. And it was the Taoist, Buddhist, Wushu energy cultivation book, Medical Qigong. And I bought it, and it was super expensive, but I didn't care. I just felt like I needed this book. And that's where I learned Jing, Chi, and Shen, was through the Taoist philosophy. That's the first
wow.
time that that philosophy came into my life, and I read that book over and over and over again.
Mm.
And that's where that first seed was planted. I didn't really know that this philosophy would become a greater part of my life later on.
It started, yeah. Those seeds are usually very powerful, even if we don't know where it's going to take us. So, wow. 17, huh? Hats off. Hats off. Good job. Good job. Okay, so that's probably okay, no. So that's where you learned Jing. So how and when? This is the same time when you started to get into mushrooms and the whole like concept of what it can do and just when did that start? Or how? Or both?
So when I had, I guess you can say, my early awakening, which was really, it came from the self-inquiry questions, knowing that something was off, something was wrong. I didn't feel good in my body.
Mm.
And it also came from the discovery that, there's a certain darkness and evil in the world, and that are, you can say, deliberately poisoning us. And I got into what you can call, or what people call, conspiracy theories, which often later become facts. Um, I w-
Especially nowadays.
I was an early bird in this stuff, and I really got obsessed with what was going on in the history and the origins of things and the poisons and the food supply and industrial chemicals. And so I just kind of went crazy and absorbed all this information. And through that, while learning about Qigong, while doing Qigong in the backyard, while pursuing a spiritual path, self-discovery, meditation, and all that stuff, the pineal gland. I was really
Mm,
obsessed about the pineal gland and the fluoridation of water and all that stuff.
mm,
And one day, I was in my backyard and at my parents' house, and I was doing some qigong, and I just started learning about, how important it is to eat organic, how important it is to eat clean, herbal infusions, and learning about different healthy superfoods. I was just discovering this stuff, and I just heard about reishi mushroom.
okay.
And when I heard about it, it just kind of stuck in my mind. I was doing qigong in the backyard, and a voice gently said, "Go behind, look in behind a tree in the yard." And
Amazing.
so I just walked very gently behind a tree, and lo and behold, there was a patch of reishi mushrooms
Are you
growing.
serious? A reishi mushroom? Out of
Yeah,
all the mushrooms, is a reishi mushroom that you found.
it
Amazing.
was gorgeous, and I was freaking out. I was like, I couldn't believe my eyes. I went on Google right away. I'm like, reishi mushrooms, and like I was a bit intimidated, to be honest, to just take these mushrooms and start boiling them into a tea and drinking them, because we just have like a mycophobia programmed in us, and our parents were just like, "Don't touch the mushrooms, you're gonna get a
Oh yeah.
headache or you're gonna die." Um, and so,
So this is
yeah,
still 17 or
still
around that
17.
age. Wow. Okay.
Someone's asking, "What's your thoughts on fungi perfecti?" Why does that
What
ring a
is your thought?
bell? Fungi perfecti. I've heard of that term before. I just
Anthony, thank you for your question. Yeah, we're open to any questions. And also, if anybody had any doubts, we're going to be posting this uh, on Instagram and probably on my YouTube as well. So if you
fu-
can't stay for the whole interview, don't be shy. Yeah,
Fungi
go for it.
perfecti is actually a website by Paul Stamets. Paul Stamets is one of the leading experts in medicinal mushrooms.
Okay.
Very well respected individual. So yeah, Fungi perfecti is really awesome. It's a great source. Just to quickly answer that question.
Yeah, nice.
So coming back to the reishi mushroom,
Yes, so your
I started
discovery
I started
of the reishi
harvesting
mushroom.
them and drinking about a liter of reishi mushroom tea every single day, and it started to change my life.
Really,
Um,
how?
well, in Taoist tonic herbalism, reishi mushroom, beyond what people understand mushrooms today, just being an immune modulatory tonic, they're amazing immune modulatory tonics. But in the Taoist tonic philosophy in Chinese medicine, reishi mushroom is known as a three treasure tonic. It's known as a Shen tonic. So this is something that has the ability to uplift the spirit, open the heart, calm the nervous
Mm.
system, turn off the monkey mind, and create like a that mind and heart coherence. It brings you right
Oh,
into the presence because it has such a powerful ability to just like ground and calm you and lift your shen, your spirit. And so I was drinking this regularly, coming from a background of energy monster drinks and like just a really intense
Wow.
kind of like young teenager, live fast, die young lifestyle. I had like anxiety and so like just a lot of different psychological problems that a lot of us are
Well, with
just plagued with.
monsters, when you're drinking monsters like that, yeah, it's not gonna help, that's for
So the benefits were noticeable, and the experience, the dreams that I started to have, the
really.
deep sleeps. I would have like these incredible long 13-hour sleeps where I just feel
Wow.
so rejuvenated. And dosage does matter because you need to saturate your body with this stuff. So I was saturating my body with wild reishi mushroom tea every day for 3 months, and eventually you just feel like time stops because you're
Really?
just so present, you're so in the moment that time suddenly collapses. Things that bother you don't bother you anymore.
Wow.
Your things that used to give you maybe like a little anxiety, it doesn't even phase you anymore. So the masters say that reishi brings you into the Tao, into the now,
Wow.
basically.
Interesting.
And so reishi really was one of those substances that, I guess you can say, accelerated my own personal journey. It heightened my intuition. And so a lot of the things I experienced after that was just very much guided. Like there's just so much magic that happened in my life after that.
Wow. And when you say by saturated, you mean like almost like a fast and only drinking those kinds of tonics?
No, like you still eat food, but like you're just pounding down reishi tea. Like you're
Okay.
it's not just a cup, you're having a second cup, you're having a third cup, you're boiling it again, you're having it again the next day and the next day.
Wow. I'm still blown away that you found that in your bar backyard, like just a patch of reishi mushrooms where, like, what? Almost like they were placed there specifically for you for this journey. Like, you don't see, I haven't seen reishi mushrooms around my garden, you know? So it's just like, wow, very impressive. Okay, well, that's an amazing story. And I guess that continues. I guess from reishi mushrooms, you ended up exploring other types of mushrooms and you ended up just snowballing into other kinds of tonics and other kinds of elixirs, or was this already information in these books that you read?
Well, in that Qigong book, there was nothing about herbs. It was very
Okay.
strictly philosophy, acupuncture, meridians, Qigong techniques, energy cultivation techniques. And it was later that I discovered that there was a whole herbal system around the three treasure philosophy. So I didn't know that there were specific Jing tonics, specific Qi and Shen tonics. And so when I discovered that Reishi was just a legendary substance that was of the prenatal school of Taoist tonic herbalism,
No.
it blew my mind. And so I was like, okay, what else is out there?
Hmm.
So the mushrooms were a big part of my journey, but I also started to discover all sorts of other roots, berries, barks, leaves, and everything that was from that ancient system of healing. And so mushrooms were just a plus because here in Canada, at least here in the boreal forest, mushrooms are very abundant. Chagas all over the place,
Hmm.
reishis all over the place,
Really?
and all these mushrooms are out there. So you can just go up north and you'll find this stuff out there. The other tonic herbs are a little harder to find, but the mushrooms are pretty abundant. And the mushrooms were very much part of my magical journey of like going into nature and just kind of getting lost in the forest and finding mushrooms and harvesting spring water and going back home, going to Chinatown to just buy some Chinese herbs that I learned the Mandarin names of, bring
Oh,
them
wow.
home, cook them in a pot, and just feel the power of Jing and feel the regenerative power and magic of these substances for myself. And so a lot of it was experiencing it for myself, learning from certain masters and mentors in the field, reading some books, but a lot of my experience comes from me just experimenting on my own body and seeing
Hmm.
what happens.
That's the best way to do it. Absolutely. And there's a I do Reiki, so I do a lot of energy work, and the best way to actually immerse yourself is to actually do the research yourself and to go to the places yourself and to do just do the things. So for you to actually go to Chinatown, research these things, you're actually you're actually connecting with them at a deeper level, right? Than just drinking them. So for you, it's like you're creating almost like a vortex. You're creating a connection because that's how connections are done is through communications, but also like when you're working with ascending masters or you're working, and now this little woo woo for anybody that it doesn't really know what this is. Energy is everywhere and energy is abundant, and you can connect to different people in different parts of the world if you really know how to channel and actually know how to just ask for it, right? It's also a question of just asking for that energy, asking for that information. And like you, when you're asking your questions, you ended up finding that book. You don't know why it was glowing, but it was glowing for you and wasn't glowing for nothing. And then everything else ricocheted. But where I'm going at with this is just the fact that you're doing the research and that you're asking the questions. You're looking for that, just looking, just researching a mushroom and then researching the Latin name and researching who has used this mushroom, all of that connects and all of that brings in a deeper connection, right? So the fact that you're practicing it on yourself, but you're also going to Chinatown, it's like what we do in rituals. It's not about the things you have, it's about how you do the rituals, how you are placing that candle. It's all about intention. So how you're lighting the candle, how you're using the sage, how you're boiling the mushrooms, what intentions do you have, and just that presence, basically, like what you're mentioning. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. So let's go to the next question. Next question would be, uh, yeah. So after discovering all this, after doing all this research, how did you decide, or why did you decide to create Alchemy Elements? Was this actually your first product that you decided to do? And if so, how did it come about? Why did you decide to share this wisdom with the world, with
Well,
humanity?
after working with the tonic herbs for so long and seeing how they changed my life, and friends would come over and I'd make them potions and different teas, and they would get zonked out on the couch being like, Derek, what are you doing to me? I feel so good. Um,
Amazing.
I one of my mentors was creating products in LA, and I was very inspired by it. And I didn't know that I would maybe do my own one day, but basically, uh, I created something before I incorporated alchemy elements and before I created the brand. I was kind of just mixing powders at home. I created something called Better Than Coffee, and that was my first mix. And
Okay.
Better Than Coffee, if I remember correctly, I had a vegan and non-vegan version. Uh, it
So
was
this is a while ago.
lucuma. It was a long time ago. It feels a really long time ago. It was lucuma, there was cordyceps, mucuna, reishi, chaga, cinnamon, cacao. It was just a really delicious um, coffee alternative at the time. And it was just a great way for people to get these tonic herbs into their system, to add into their drink rituals, to in a delicious way too, because oftentimes these herbs could be really bitter.
Hmm.
And so that was the first mix. And then I started to create my own little logo. And at the time, I was doing a lot of workshops for, I call this a mystery school. It was a very interesting tribe of people I was working with.
Wow. Okay.
They were creating this really interesting program in Montreal for people, and they had access to a big audience. It was with Mathieu Galland from Crudescence and Rise Kombucha and his partner at the
Oh,
time, Marjorie, and they founded a school called La Geosophie, and they invited me to kind of cover topics on Jing, on the body, on how to regenerate yourself through these different means. And so I started creating formulas for this school,
oh wow.
and I
Okay.
created formulas Jing, Chi, and Shen. And then eventually I was like, I departed from them. I decided to kind of go full force with my own products and Alchemy Incorporated. Never was a businessman. I just wanted to bring these powerful tonic herbs that changed my life to people at scale. And so I created 6 formulas, 6 new formulas at the time. And I just started going to expos and shows and just sharing the love and sharing the knowledge and just trying to get these herbs out there. And today, as it stands, I've pivoted many times. The business has like gone through so many reiterations, but that's what comes with, an evolving business. And now we have
Absolutely.
like one super formula, and it's like a powerful Jing tonic, but we're taking it to a whole new level now. So that's where it all started.
Really, a whole new level. What do you mean? Elaborate on that.
Uh,
Why is this one believed to be the most powerful? Well, probably because you've tried so many. I mean,
I've formulated hundreds of different blends, like powders flying everywhere. Um, I
yeah, that
was
makes
doing
sense.
custom blends for people too. People would come to me for customization, so I would make custom
Oh,
blends for
nice.
specific individuals. Um, but the reason why it's a whole different level now is because of how it's manufactured, the professionalism behind the whole process, the just understanding business, having learned so much from my mistakes in the past, the ability to scale. Now I have a business partner. We put an investment, and we're really just
Nice.
like taking it to a whole new level on different layers, I guess you can say.
Amazing. And is all this manufactured here in Quebec? Not Quebec. I know you were in Quebec, but you're in Toronto. No, was it made here in Canada?
The herbs come from all over the world. And
Okay.
then there we have our manufacturer that uses a very incredible technology to extract them. And then we get shipped here, and then I hand pack everything myself and oversee the formulation,
Okay.
and
Nice.
then we ship from here.
Nice. Amazing. That's awesome too, because sometimes herbs and just products like that are from nature, it's better to have them in their original countries because
Yeah,
they're a lot more potent. So that's awesome. That's amazing. Congratulations for
thank you.
bringing it to another level. That's awesome. Next question would be, well, we already got to the first alchemy mix, but I wanted to start talking about your programs now because like you said, you just like tangent in all kinds of different directions, and some of the programs that you're offering look really intriguing. I'm actually still debating between two that you already know about, but I want to know basically, let's start with the newest one, the women's womb wellness. Let's talk about that. Where is this one coming from? You already mentioned it a little bit on your Instagram, is with all the experiences, but why did you find it was super important for this one to come out finally?
Well, I I have always had like a side business for consulting.
Mm,
It's been like my side business to do one-on-one private consultations with individuals. I started this officially in 2015, and
okay.
over time I just was saying yes to so many people. Many people were coming to me with different problems. I've worked with people from a whole host of different issues, from psychological addictions to cancers and tumors to infertility
Wow.
problems, obesity. And I just started facing all of these issues one on one. And a lot of my approach was revolved around the Taoist tonic herbal philosophy and Chinese medicine and everything that I was learning that was alternative therapies, outside of Western allopathic medicine, but just merging it and grounding it all in science, of course, and like really fact checking all this stuff. But over time, I noticed that the majority of my clients were becoming more and more women. And
Mhm.
so I was working with a lot of women at the time, and I would discover a whole variety of different problems, understanding common denominators of issues that women experience, and learning about all different walks of life of women. And so I learned a lot about women's health. And I dived deep enough into all of this stuff to have a really deep understanding on how to approach women's health, and how in Chinese medicine we approach things at the root core. We go
Mm,
to the root of things. It's important to have like that, one thing cures one thing kind of mentality, but there's always a root core. There's always a common denominator. A lot of symptoms often stem from one thing. And
mm-hmm.
so over time, my understanding has just improved. My ability to just connect dots have improved. And so recently, a good sister of mine was like, dude, you need to like create a group. You need to like just do group programs for people and stop doing one-on-ones. And I love doing one-on-ones. It's very time consuming. It does take a lot of energy. So I decided to just kind of take all of my best knowledge that I've learned working with women one-on-one over the past 7 years, almost 10 years. I
Wow.
lost count, and to package it in a way over the course of 6 weeks where we're just going to just dive into everything that I know, everything that I've learned. And it's going to be centered around the womb, because the womb is the center of a woman's health. It's her life, it's the life force, and everything revolves around the womb. But we're going to be talking about overall women's health, but we're also going to be talking about womb health and a lot of the issues that women experience: infertility, ovarian cysts, how to overcome these things, menstrual problems, pre and post pregnancy recovery. I'm just going to go crazy and share everything that I know. And I'm
Amazing.
notorious for just doing information overloads, because I just have so much to share. So I decided that it was important that I would honor the majority of the clients that I've worked with and all the knowledge that I've
Wow.
accumulated over this period of time as like a good first initiation of doing this group immersion for women. And then the
Amazing.
next one after, because I've been shifting my energy over the past year to being a little more masculine, a little more towards men's health. After this one, I'm going to do one specifically for men.
That's awesome. Doing the yin and the yang.
Exactly.
Amazing. That is great. Uh, One-on-one is great, but I've noticed that when you have group classes, group programs, sometimes you get even more out of it because you have everybody else's experience and then you have everybody else participating and doing the exercises, and then everybody brings in their little 2 cents, right? And it just, when you have the support, you don't only have the support of the coach, but you have the support of this incredible people that are participating as well. And then it's it's different dynamics completely, but sometimes, yeah, groups are actually you just learn so much when you're actually doing it within a group. So yeah, good job, good job. I like the It's an amazing switch that you did. And in addition to that, you're able to actually build a community, right? If you're actually able to get these people to come like once every 6 months or something just to see the improvement, that's like an extra plus that you
And,
can offer too.
and I realized, there's a lot of amazing work that's going on with women.
Mm.
There's a lot of energetic womb stuff. There's a lot of trauma work. There's a lot of, we're
Mm.
seeing like the wave and the trend of yoni steams and all that stuff.
Mm.
There's a lot of self-care related work, energetic and spiritual work going on. But I realize that there's not enough of the physical stuff. Some of the hardest stuff is to actually get into the protocols, understand the knowledge to treat things naturally rather than being left into the hands of, you know, the surgeons to deal with
Mm.
cysts and tumors and fibroids and all this stuff that is very paralyzing to a woman's health. And these things, they have an energy, they have a force, and you can't just deal with these things from an energetic spiritual perspective. So
Mm.
like having the
Very
knowledge
true.
is so powerful. And I really don't see a lot of people out there sharing that knowledge or that have that knowledge. I have that knowledge, so it's important that I share this knowledge.
Mm.
And in a group container, it's so much more empowering to share it with multiple women. And it's just a more empowering, it's a more powerful ripple effect. And I think it was just about time that I do group immersions.
And that you actually start teaching the 3D reality of things in terms of women's health. Yeah, that's amazing. It's so true. You see a lot of the spirituality and the whole meditation, and everybody talks about that. And like I said in the beginning, we tend to forget that we're human and we have a body and it's rooted and it's very physical. Although it's very energetic too, because technically the cells don't really touch. There's an energetic embryo around. Like it is energy, but fact remains we're human, we're in a 3D reality, and we have a, a plethora of all kinds of herbs and foods that are meant to nourish us, meant to heal us. And we always tend to forget that, I find, and especially in the spiritual community.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I want to circle back real quickly that
Hmm.
one of the reasons why the Jing Chi Shen, the three treasure philosophy, was created by the Taoist immortals 5, 10,000 years ago, if we're talking about spirituality, was that if you're incarnated in a physical body, you have to endure this life. There's lessons that you have to learn, there's
Yeah,
challenges you have to go
very true.
through.
Yeah,
And the
absolutely.
Taoists believe that you need to spend the first 100 years of your life learning to master the 3D realm, learning to build your
Mm,
Jing, protecting your Jing and preventing it from leaking, to build up good chi, to have a lifestyle that prevents leakages of your energy, to learn to become a master of these things so that you
mm,
can live long enough to develop your Shen, your spirit, and then you could, ascend and travel by thought and do all the wonderful things that have been hidden from us, um, of great masters that used to be here, that are still here.
mm.
Um, so that's the idea. It's like we really have to take care of this physical vehicle. We have to endure this life and live long enough so that we can truly develop our spirit. Because whatever we fail to learn in a lifetime, whatever we don't get, we take with us in the next, and we take with
Mm.
us in the next until we learn the lesson and until we, you can say, ascend or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that too. We're here to learn specific lessons, and if we don't learn them, we end up in this loophole, right? We're redoing the same things over and over until we actually break the cycle. And if we don't break it in this lifetime, I do believe also that we're going to carry it with us until we break it finally. So very interesting. Very, 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 very hats off. Thank you again. Thank you for being you and sharing your knowledge. A lot of people have all this knowledge and they don't think of actually sharing it because for whatever reason it doesn't really matter. So thank you for bringing this to the world. That in itself, you bringing this program into existence is already, even before it started, rippling off and creating ripples of change within not only your circle but within all the other circles that it's going to ripple off to, right? Because you're going to probably inspire somebody else to do the same.
Absolutely.
Anybody watching this video might get inspired also with just this conversation. And this is what I love about connecting and communicating and talking and just sharing all this knowledge in the world. So before we completely end it, there was two more questions. Actually three. The first one would be, well, you kind of touched it. What is your mission
I
in the
think
world?
you I think you said it there. It's inspiring, it's empowering people. And I could say many things, to be honest. I can get into specifics about how my mission is to bring an amazing brand to the world, to scale tonic herbs, or
Hmm.
I can talk about bringing the knowledge to women. And but at the end of the day, it's very simple, and it's really to inspire and empower every single person through many means, through various art forms. And I wrote here, um, to ignite the spark, to fuel the flame of divinity that exists within everyone. And that's all.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. To ignite a spark. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I believe that too. That everybody Every single one has this incredible power within them, and it's just a question of tapping into it. Every single person, I don't care what your background is, what you've done. Um, I actually do believe that even like the most evilest of people, there's still that spark there. It's just a question of, you know, we can't do it for them, right? Because everybody's in their own journey. But I actually do believe that there is a spark, that the divine is there. The divine is present.
Yeah,
What's happened around past, present, even future, I mean, it's up to them. But yeah, absolutely agree. So basically, awakening power and potential, like what you wrote in your description,
exactly.
beautiful. Um, if you could suggest just one thing to someone to take their power back through, yeah, if you can just, if there was only one thing that you would tell somebody who wants to start this journey of tapping into their potential and tapping into their power, what would you suggest?
I would have to say to have a non-dogmatic approach to life, to health,
Okay.
to diet, to not like basically what I wrote here is to not have a non-dogmatic approach to things, to explore the freedom to discover what works for you. Set realistic goals and don't set the bar too high. We're
Mm.
all on our journey, and I think the best advice is not to be dogmatic because everyone that I have come across that have reached a certain limitation, that have stopped learning and ended up experiencing problems was because they were in a box, that they identified with a dogma. It
Okay.
doesn't matter if it's a religion or health or something. It,
Mm.
I was raw vegan one time, I was vegan for a long time. I was identified with it. It didn't work for me after a long time. I had suffered health consequences, and until I released that dogma, I was able to heal myself. And
Mm.
the same story for so many things on so many different layers. It's not just related to health, but I think that's what I would have to say.
Mm, interesting. So basically, like, don't take life too seriously, don't take yourself too seriously, don't take everything religiously. Like, this is the ultimate truth kind of idea and philosophy. Like, we don't know everything. We don't know, like, the truth of, of the whole existence. We just don't know. We have theories, we have we have thoughts, we have opinions, but in reality, we just don't know. It's so vast. All the information out there, it's just like so vast. So yeah, that's
You
actually
know,
really good.
we're drowning in information but starving for wisdom.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's crazy, especially nowadays with the access that we have with the internet and everybody's an opinion online now. Everybody has an opinion and they're just ready to just voice it out there. It's actually I find it's harder to find people who are just going to listen and observe. And I think that's where we're coming back to a little bit is talking less, listening more, observing more, and like that silence, I find it very important. To me, anyways, it's been coming back to that silence, coming back to this. We forget that when we are silent, that's when the information, the real information, actually comes up and surface up. Someone who's talking too much or trying to explain themselves too much generally is not really telling you or not being honest with themselves or with the people that they're talking towards in the sense of like if you are using so many words to try to really describe what's happening to you, do you really know what's happening? Like, if you know and if you're feeling, you don't need to use that many words or try to explain it. Am I making sense? I think I'm
That makes
making sense.
sense. Yeah. The great Wim Hof says that feeling is understanding.
Mm, nice. I like that. Feeling is understanding. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Yeah. Okay, last question. The last question would be, what would be the first what would be the one thing you would suggest to someone who would like to start their journey of becoming a Jing master?
I laughed at that question because I was like, well, if you've heard about Jing, and it's you really have to feel the calling within. Like, I don't think there's an accurate answer for that. I don't think I would actually suggest anything. I think
Okay.
it's really like, if you feel like you want to take your life on a deeper level and you want to learn about deeper knowledge and things, that are, I guess you can say, alternative, and you want to learn how to just simply master yourself and master your energy, because you know that this life is draining, that
Mm.
there's so much stimuli. And like I said, we're drowning in information and starving for wisdom. You have to feel that calling within yourself. And it's like, it's a lifelong journey.
Mm.
It's not like I'm going to
So
want to
true.
be a Jing master tomorrow and this weekend I'm going to go party all weekend and just like lose my mind and get fall again and just, but at least you'll
Start
get
over.
back up,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's what matters. But you want to be a Jing master, it's like you have to take it seriously in a
Mm.
way, because you want to you love yourself enough to want to cultivate the energy, and not just for yourself. You're cultivating the energy, or you're cultivating experience and wisdom, because eventually you're going to share it with the world, because we're living in a world where people are suffering and people are dying, and there's a loss of the ancient wisdom, there's a loss of
Mm.
the knowledge, and we need more and more people who want to step up to the plate, who want to go deeper inside themselves, who want to master their energy, who want to address their shadows, who want to who just want to become more masterful in life, not just for selfish motives, but just to really share it with the world. And
Or just
I
be that
guess
example, right?
just be that light in a dark room.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Absolutely. Mm. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you for having me on, and I love the project that you're doing and that you're creating. And if there's anything that I can do, I would love to share more about it. And I love these lives; they're so awesome, and just everyone supporting here in the chat, throwing hearts and comments. Like, it's
Absolutely, yes.
awesome. I love this, and thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you to everybody watching, and thank you, specifically people like you. I would not be I would not be doing this project if I didn't meet people like you. If I did not see people who were actually, doing their part. Just seeing people working on themselves is a blessing, and it gives me hope. It gives me hope for just for humanity. It gives me hope for this world, because when we focus on ourselves instead of focusing on the drama outside and all the distractions outside. And at a point in my life, I got really depressed because like, is this all there is? And then slowly but surely people like you just started sprouting up, like your reishi mushrooms. They just started coming about, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, there's more to this life, there's more to, we all have this within, and that's where I came to really realize it's within all of us. We all really deeply want to work on ourselves. We're just afraid. We're afraid of what we're going to find. We're afraid of failure. Um, we're afraid of what people are going to think about us if we do like step out of that box, like you were saying. So seeing more and more people actually realize, you know what, I do want to work on myself, and I do want to just be more in alignment, be more happy. I do want to eat healthier because I do feel better. It's amazing. It's the reason why I did this project, is to show that if we can do it, if you can do it, if I could do it, that means anybody could do it. And I love these conversations, but especially with people like that I've met and met, because we're all normal people. There's nothing like special about us. I mean, I think there's something special in everybody, but we're human. We're not going to hide you're not going to hide behind your Jing Master title. You're going to come and you're going to be honest and you're going to be truthful. And that's all I would ask from anybody, really. Just be honest, just be truthful. We all hit our bumps in the roads. You know, we all fall. the important part is to get up. If if you guys take anything from here, you can start your Jing Master journey and fall 50, 60, 100 times. As long as you get back up and you do it again, that's all that really matters. Yeah.
Oh, ho to that.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if everybody has any questions for your upcoming program is starting, I think, next week. No, in
Yes,
2 weeks,
so for
on
the
in April.
women's womb wellness immersion, it starts April 4th, and you can go
Okay.
check out my third to last post for more info. But DM me, feel free to reach out,
Yes.
and yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yes. Yes. The more we, the as soon as we started diving into and you started explaining, I'm like, okay, this is the class that I want. So I'm gonna be DMing you very, very, very shortly because yeah. Yeah, it was very inspiring. Super, super inspiring. And I can't wait to, yeah, we're going to talk very soon about other projects to come because this was awesome. This was amazing. I actually pulled two cards before
Oh,
starting this, and one was uh, what kind of dynamic to expect, and the second one was, well, that wasn't really but anyway, it was close enough. And the second card that I pulled was, what are we going to offer to the viewers whoever watched this? And you know what came out? I don't know if you know tarot very well, but this is the dynamics that we would have, which is the Fool, which I feel is exactly how this conversation went. And then what we're going to, one second, what we were going to offer to the world with this conversation was the world, which was very, very interesting. A
interesting,
completion, yeah, a full circle moment. Yeah, I'll let you guys ponder on
amazing.
that. I know, I know. Yeah, I'll let you guys ponder on those two cards, well, on the world card, actually. But yeah, that's it for today. I wish I had more questions, but we'll make a part two, or
Yeah,
we'll figure
definitely.
something out. Yes, and I would love to meet and talk with your queen too
Oh
next time
yes.
around. I
Thank you
only seen a
so
couple of
much.
imagery, but just someone who has obsidian in her Instagram just name already inspires a lot of confidence. And yeah, it's one of my favorite stones, so
I think
very much.
she's listening to this live too, so
Oh, really? Yes, you're
she's
gonna have
hearing
to come
it.
on next time. Absolutely, for sure. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thank you again, Derek. This was
May
a
the
pleasure.
force be with you all forever.
Yes. Absolutely. And this will be posted within tonight or maybe tomorrow. I actually have to figure out, do you know how to figure out how to do like collaborations posts? Sometimes I see like two people who have
Oh
like two
yeah.
names on it.
I've never
How to
tried
figure
yet.
it out. Yeah, me either. I'll try to figure that out. If anything, I'll send you the video, probably via like a Google Drive or something.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye everybody.
Ciao.